Welcome back, Patriots, for another episode of the Bald Brad Show, where we break down all the major news that you need to know about heading into your work day, your work weekend, really anytime, anywhere. We're going to bring you up to date of what's going on. Let me tell you, it's a Friday. News cycle ends Thursday, but they are not shy of bringing the news. And you'll be saying, who's they, Brad? Who's they? The Democrat Party. Because they did a debate last night, and you're damn right, we're going to watch some video clips here if I could find it in time. Zohran Mamdani, Cuomo, and Sliwa fight it out in New York City Mayoral debate. And you know that there has to be some gems in there. And if there ain't, then we ain't doing a good job of finding them. Because anytime a Democrat talks, there's something in there. If you haven't already, folks, hit that like and subscribe button. Definitely hit that like button. A subscribe, well, you got to see if it's worth the subscription or not. So yesterday was the debate between all the knuckleheads over there in New York City. And they were doing live updates throughout the night, which is absolutely hilarious. So Mamdani and Cuomo had definitely a few back and forths over the evening. And we'll see just a little bit of one of those. So the fact that Mamdani just attempted to shame Cuomo for not knowing the name of the mosque is exactly how this whole thing works. And we got more and more and more. So here's just one of the many clips.
Candidate in the Democratic primary for him to set foot in a mosque. He had more than 10 years, and he couldn't name a single mosque at the last debate we had that he visited. And what Muslims want in this city is what every community wants and deserves. They want equality, and they want respect. And it took me to get you to even see those Muslims as part of this city. And that, frankly, is something that is shameful and is why so many New Yorkers have lost faith in this politics.
Yeah, except, that is totally false. I worked with the Muslim community for many years.
Name a single mosque you went to when you were the governor. Can you name a single mosque you went to in 10 years?
Before you were ever here.
Before I was here. Candidate in the Democratic primary for him to...
So that, by the way, that clip that you saw out of the entire evening was like one of the biggest clipped parts or segments of that whole thing. We also have here Mamdani. Once again, I want to make sure I get this correctly. This one's about the socialism. So here's another gem to push his socialist ideas. It's just like, between what comes out of Cuomo's mouth, what comes out of Zohran Mamdani's mouth, then AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Gavin Newsom, Mayor Bowser, Brandon Johnson over there in Chicago. It's all just, it's crazy silly. And then you also have the knuckleheads in the Supreme Court, Ketanji Brown Jackson. Remember yesterday, if you weren't with us, Ketanji Brown Jackson said, black people are disabled. It's just like the wildest thing come out of these people's mouths.
I would be the mayor of this entire city. And that means ensuring that the wealth that we generate in this city is also wealth that every single New Yorker can actually feel in their pockets. Because what we have today is a system that has generated the most wealth in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, where 1 in 4 of our neighbors are living in poverty. That's unacceptable. We can't look at 500,000 kids hungry every single night as just the cost of doing business in this city. That's something we have to actually change. And I'm going to do that by fighting for my neighbors in Queens that I've come to know, who are not only the ones who own teapots and toy stores, who own diners and dry cleaners, but also the ones who work there. Because right now, all of them are being pushed out of this city by corporate greed, by private equity, and by a politics that refuses to fight for them. I will finally deliver that politics. Follow-up. I would be the mayor.
They're being pushed out of this city because of the corporate greed, crony capitalism, all this stuff. You notice he never mentioned high taxes. That's like one of the main things is people are being pushed out for. Did you notice that he doesn't mention the crime? That's why people are leaving. I don't know, maybe the fact that it's too expensive. It's hilarious that he doesn't mention all those things, especially the taxes, because he's about to bump up their taxes another 2%. That's why he didn't mention it, because that way it can't be used against them again in this conversation. Mr. Mamdani, you said that people are leaving because of high taxes. Can you explain how they're not going to leave under your policy when you start raising taxes yourself? You can't believe it. You can't believe it. Some of you can because they're idiots over there. I mean, the clips are just remarkable coming out of that. So, by the way, can anybody in the chat name a mosque themselves? Because I can't, and I couldn't even name you the nearest church to me. Put it that way. But somehow that's a big deal. It's wild. It really, really is. So, if Mamdani is elected, New Yorkers should expect to give 52% of their paychecks in taxes to help pay for his radical agenda. And we covered this clip yesterday, but it just really does fit into the debate last night. We're playing it again. I know it's a repeat, but I still also too. Some of you in the chat yesterday were like 52%. Can you imagine just 52%? Yeah.
So a lot of individuals in this city pay more than 50% of their income in taxes. When you talk about a fair share, how much more than, what is the fair share? What's the number?
I've said that we should increase personal income taxes by 2%.
Is fair.
And my point is this:
give up more than half of your income. That's
if you're making $1 million in New York City or more than that, you can afford to pay 2% more. And the reasons you can afford to do so is because that money will be used to better your quality of life as well.
Yeah.
Because when I speak to the wealthiest New Yorkers, I hear concerns about the cleanliness of the city, the quality of life in the city, questions of public safety. This money is the money that will be used to deliver on those things so that we can ensure that we have a return on investment for all of the money that we are raising and spending right here across the 5 boroughs.
So a lot of individuals in this.
The return on investment, you guys. Have you heard of it's a return on investment? Yeah, if you make $1 million, you can afford to pay 2% more. Like we said yesterday, you can also afford to get the hell out of New York. And I'd be running quick. 52%, yo. Holy. Well, he was also given multiple chances to walk back his language that he wanted to tax whiter neighborhoods at a higher rate, but he refused to walk it back. Little racist here, huh?
And realize there's a policy proposal that says your plan, and I'm going to quote it for folks, is to shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods.
Just switch that to richer and blacker neighborhoods. Isn't that nuts? It's okay, though, because he's talking about white people. White people get trashed all the time. It's okay. It's like Christians. It's okay as long as you're trashing Christians, that's fine. But the moment you say anything about Muslims, you can't do that. Anything you say anything about Muhammad, oh no. But you can talk crap about Jesus. You can talk crap about all these other people in the Bible. But the moment you say anything about Muhammad and you say anything about Muslims, careful.
Explain why you are bringing race into your tax proposal.
That is just a description of what we see right now. It's not driven by race. It's more of an assessment of what neighborhoods are being undertaxed versus overtaxed.
So no plans to change that language on your website.
The focus here is to actually ensure a fair property tax system. And the use of that language is just an assessment of the neighborhood.
And realize there's a policy proposal.
Yeah, it's fair to tax people based on race. That's fun. Yeah. I hope this guy wins. The content. Jesus. So, during the debate last night, he was asked, how are you going to make buses free? Here is his response from last night. How are you going to make buses free?
But the question is how you'll make them free.
We will fund the revenue that would have otherwise been brought in from fares. And that's something that we would do in partnership with Albany. And I've put forward 2 proposals. The first is to raise taxes on the top 1% of New Yorkers by 2%. That would raise $4 billion. The second is to raise the state's top corporate tax rate to match that of New Jersey, which would raise $5 billion.
But the question is.
So he's just going to tax you. But don't worry, it's a return on investment, you guys, for the rich people. See, it gets all the poor people off the streets walking around and clogging up and making congestion. So when you try to get into your nice Royal, your what is it? I don't even know nice cars, to be honest. Your Benz, your Rolls Royce that you don't have to worry about all the peasants getting in your way because they're all on the city buses. That's your return on investment. What an idiot. Freaking A, dude. As you can tell, I'm having a freaking grand old time. I love when people make content for me. You know what I mean? It was like Joe Biden. We took a major hit as a country, but in terms of content, we were never higher. Let me tell you. Joe Biden was a content generator. So is Karine Jean-Pierre. So now we have this. You have, where is it at here? The one that everybody was saying won was what's that guy named Sliwa. So here's a little bit of a clip that somebody kind of brought together.
Everybody agrees Curtis Sliwa won that debate tonight.
I actually agree with Curtis on that.
I agree, by the way.
Now it's time, Andrew Cuomo. You're one and done. You lost the primary. You lost the debate to me. Make room for Zohran Mamdani versus Curtis Sliwa in the next debate. Let the people pick the winner. And you know after tonight, it's gonna be me.
Some of this stuff is so cringy, dude. These guys, like, bro, put down the cup of coffee, dude, or the tea, whatever the hell you're drinking. Huh? Just a quick question. What would be more relatable? Simmer down. A cup of coffee after a debate late at night. Cup of coffee. Him holding a freaking stein of cold hard Adams something beer, or a slice of pizza. In the chat, let me know. Him holding a cup of coffee is more relatable. Just endlessly. Can you imagine if I did a show like this? Hey, we're back here with the Bald Brad Show. The guy's bald and he knows what he's talking about. It's a great show. I really love it. It's awesome. It's the best thing. I'm hitting that like and subscribe button. And, or I don't have a beer. Yo, could you imagine though? I pull out a Steiny. Yeah, Jesus, Brad, it's 6 a.m. Simmer down, buddy. I'm waiting to see what you guys are posting here. Yeah, okay. Yo, me and Troba we're on the same page. I'll be honest, I was thinking pizza too. But you know, a beer's not a bad one. The coffee's the weird, it's just a weird look. It really is. But it makes sense, right? He's a New Yorker, get some of that New Yorker style pizza. Hey, get out of the street, bub. All right. Yeah, there's a terrible New York accent, but it is what it is. It really is. Okay. Well, enough with that. I won't torture you guys anymore with those clips. Because Brad's enough. Let's see. Maybe we have more. Hold on a second. That one, the tax. Yeah, it was the bus fare and the mosque were the two big ones. All righty. Getting into some other news here. Enough of that. I want to go back to the Ketanji Brown Jackson thing. Can we revisit it? Because it is remarkable. Freaking remarkable what this woman said. And not everybody was with us last night. Not everybody was with us. So, Ketanji Brown Jackson, and I will give you the exact verbatim quote. Actually, you know what? Here, I'll let Breitbart show you the quote just so you can see visually, and then we'll actually listen to her again. It's just, I'm not laughing because it's like what she said was funny. I'm laughing because I can't believe she said something like this. You don't have equal access to voting systems. They are disabled. She's talking about black people, you guys. She's talking about black people.
I'm thinking of the fact that remedial action, absent discriminatory intent, is really not a new idea in the civil rights laws. And my kind of paradigmatic example of this is something like the ADA. Congress passed the Americans with Disabilities Act against the backdrop of a world that was generally not accessible to people with disabilities. And so it was discriminatory in effect because these folks were not able to access these buildings. And it didn't matter whether the person who built the building or the person who owned the building intended for them to be exclusionary. That's irrelevant. Congress said The facilities have to be made equally open to people with disabilities if readily possible. I guess I don't understand why that's not what's happening here. The idea in Section 2 is that we are responding to current day manifestations of past and present decisions that disadvantage minorities and make it so that they don't have equal access to the voting system, right? They're disabled. In fact, we use the word disable.
Hey, it's not me.
In Milligan, we say that's a way in which you see that these processes are not equally open, right?
Yo. I got to see what people are saying. Hold on a second. If your bartender can go to jail for over-serving a drunk person who drives, then judges should go to jail for criminals they release who someone killed. That's who killed someone. Not wrong. Oh my goodness. Isn't this insanely racist? Labeling the entire race of people as disabled because of the color of their skin is racist? What on earth? Oh, somebody did. Somebody took that clip that we talked about yesterday and superimposed it with what she said. Oh boy, I love it. I love it. So this clip was asking black people if they had IDs and were able to find the DMV because we were told otherwise by a bunch of liberal white people. Oh my God. Oh yes, here.
Said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
It's one of my favorite movie quotes of all time. Just so you know, there is not a week that goes by in my life that a moment arises to where this exact quote does not go through my head. There is something at least once a week where in my mind, I think what this man is saying. Unbelievable. So what they're trying to do is basically redistrict based on race, which sounds a little bit racist to me. And if you even look into the Voting Rights Act, when it was kind of put in place, it made sense like when it was put in place, to be fair, but we're not there nowadays by any means. So Democrats in the South could just completely like be wiped out. So I want to show you another image that I didn't show you yesterday of what the current map looks like and then what it would look like. And let me see if I can get my big old head out of the way here for all of you. Yeah, get your head out of the way, Brad. Jesus. So here's what the current map is for those that can't read. If you're colorblind, well, you're screwed. That's mostly the men out there. I don't think women could be colorblind if I have that right. So you got a lot of blue here. We're really breaking this down deep. You got a lot of blue and you got some red. And well, if you look over at the plausible scenario, you don't have as much blue and you have a lot more red. There you go. Look at that analysis. That's how Democrats talk. Well, what you see here is you got some blue mixed in with some red, and blue and red don't mix together. But if the blue was gone, you'd have a lot more red. I don't know, I like the color red though in this though. Red looks good. It kind of looks like our country. I mean, doesn't this kind of just look like the map of the United States of America? I'm just saying. This is very reminiscent of what we're used to looking at. If the election's not rigged. If the election's not rigged. Yeah. But we're not going to open up that bag of worms, are we? We'll just keep that one locked away. Well, you have that. And then in other words, Democrats are scared that Republicans may be able to do to the South what Democrats did to the Northeast, where Republicans get 40% of the vote and 0 congressional seats. I always love this one because the Democrats have been doing gerrymandering for like decades, by the way, and they're about to be wiped out and they don't know what to do. And, can somebody explain this to me? Look at these ones that have almost 50% Republicans in it and 0 seats. I'm going to say that again because there's some people on audio. If you look at like New Hampshire, for example, New Hampshire is 48% Republican, folks, based on what this is saying. 0 seats, not even one, not even uno. Really? A little odd, a little weird. But don't worry, it's normal. Yeah, that's normal. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, I see somebody else is posting it. Yeah, they're screwed. And most likely, from what I'm hearing, it's going to happen. So what you had there was an awful lot of blue districts will be wiped off the map. Yeah. Most people don't have any idea about this, but it's true. The key to Democrats' political power is that they have fundamentally rigged the system, which is what we talked about yesterday, and Democrats have been rigging it for decades. So when Trump says that 2020 was rigged, by the way, he's right. I hate to say it, but he is right because they have been rigging this stuff. And every election before that was also rigged, stretching back for decades. And that's why they've been trying to intimidate and assassinate the Supreme Court justices out there in front of their houses that you saw. I mean, that one guy for going after Brett Kavanaugh, I believe it was, what, he only get like 8 years or something silly like that for plotting an assassination attempt on his life? They know that a conservative court could dismantle their entire party, and it looks like that's exactly what's going on. And this is obviously the right outcome. First of all, as the lawyers pointed out yesterday at the Supreme Court, the Voting Rights Act, as it currently is being implemented, completely ignores a situation where white people are the minority. Yeah, well, you know, because you can't, we were told by the Democrat Party, you can't be racist against white people. Yeah, you can't even discriminate against them, which is why we're everybody's punching bag all the time with everything, because it's okay if you talk about white people, but the moment you talk about anybody that's of color, you can't even make jokes about it. There are no congressional maps that are being redrawn anywhere in the country because the state doesn't have enough majority white districts. But it's the reverse if it's black. Gotcha. Okay. No, white people hold all the power is what we're told. Yeah, we hold all of it. And that's not because we don't have white people in the minority in many places in this country. There are plenty of districts, by the way, in the state of California where I live, just so you all know, where white people are the minority. There's a lot of other ethnicities here, let me tell you. A lot of Hispanics, too. That wasn't the case when the Voting Rights Act was signed into law, but it's true now. And yet the state of California is not being forced to redraw their districts so that white people have a majority anywhere. No, we're being left behind. Instead, white people are told to enjoy their minority status as the street signs all transition to Spanish, which isn't wrong, by the way. Like you have Bad Bunny that is literally doing allegedly an entire Super Bowl halftime show. American football, folks. Halftime show in Spanish. And these psychos are coming out going, well, I know Spanish. Half the country speaks Spanish. Yeah, half the country doesn't speak Spanish. And the other half, even though they speak Spanish, English is still their first language. So stop it. Stop with your shenanigans. So here is a liberal Supreme Court justice, meaning Sonia Sotomayor, saying, quote, even white Republicans or white Democrats won't vote for black candidates. Folks, I'm going to say this again because you might go, wait, what, Brad? Wasn't there a president named Barack Obama that they voted for? Yeah, that's correct. Even white Republicans or white Democrats won't vote for black candidates.
That even white Republicans or white Democrats won't vote for black candidates.
Right, but if these were white Democrats, there's no reason to think they would have a second district. None. And so what is happening here is their argument is because these Democrats happen to be black, they get a second district. If they were all white, we all agree they wouldn't get a second district. That is literally the definition of race subordinating traditional principles.
Justice Kagan?
I mean, I think he said right because maybe it plays into his argument of what he's trying to propose, meaning something's that there's white people that are the minority, but you're not redistricting on behalf of those minority whites to make them the majority. In the same way that if there's a minority of black people, the Voting Rights Act says that you need to redraw districts so that they are the majority, if that makes sense. So it played into his argument, which is why he's saying right. I don't think he's saying right in regards to the way that Democrats vote. They wouldn't vote, like white Democrats wouldn't vote for blacks or a black politician. Folks, again, Brandon Johnson is black. He is the freaking mayor of Chicago. You had Barack Obama, the president of the United States, where you would have had to have a lot of white Democrats voting for him. I hate to say it, but you would. I don't know what she's talking about, but she's confused as well, just like her colleague, Ketanji Brown Jackson. They probably sit together in one room in a freaking cone and just bask in all their idiocracy. So no matter how much Democrats scream about equity and past discrimination, there's no getting around it. Our Constitution does not permit open racial discrimination, period. That's what it is. Even if you supposedly do it for the right reasons or whatever, the Supreme Court was willing to entertain the idea of affirmative action for many years, which was a disaster, and we all saw that. But we're not in the past, folks. And the Supreme Court is past it too. So there's a clip here of an NAACP lawyer argues at the Supreme Court that it's necessary to create race-based congressional districts because, quote, this is an exact quote. That's why I said quote. Listen to this. White people and white Democrats were not voting for black candidates, whether they were Democrats or not. So this is another one. You might be, Brad, we just heard somebody say that. No. This is an NAACP lawyer saying it now. Just making stuff up.
Right, and in the state of Louisiana, that analysis was conducted in the Nairn case, and it was clear that regardless of party, white Democrats were not voting for black candidates, whether they were Democrats or not. And we know that there is such a significant chasm between how black and white voters vote in Louisiana that there's no question that even if there is some correlation between race and party, that race is the driving factor.
Some correlation between race and party?
Can you comment on the Solicitor General's suggestion at page 20?
That's right. And in the state of Louisiana.
So let's just figure this out really quick. So she said there's some correlation. What is the correlation coefficient between someone's race and the political party they vote for in the United States? Let's just see. And I'll break this down for you when it gives me a number, because I'm curious. So if you're wondering what a correlation coefficient is, a correlation coefficient talks about the form, the shape, as well as how strong one variable explains this variable, which is your response. So if I wanted to figure out my exam scores, I could look at the different variables that would go into me getting a good grade or a bad grade on an exam. You know, how many hours I studied is one variable we can look at. And then another graph would be me getting my attendance. I'm, going to school versus another variable is hours slept. And amidst of all those variables, which one had the greater impact and has the strongest relationship to my exam score? So let me see if it gave us an actual number here. So it says multiple studies and reports show that race is one of the biggest demographic predictors of party identification or voting in the United States. Oh, boy. Oh. Yo, immediately discredited her. By the way, that was Pew Research, by the way. I'm still trying to see if I get the R value. That's hilarious. So when it says the strongest, usually a strong correlation is like 0.9, 0.85 or something like that. I'm trying to actually see if I can get an R value for this, but I don't think I can right now. I don't think it's going to find one. Maybe somebody. Oh, here we go. So Kramer's V. Okay, yeah, nobody's actually reported a R for race versus party analysis. But some are saying that maybe it's 0.3 to 0.4. So for society, that's actually strong. So it's considered moderate, but in terms of like looking at societies and demographics, it's actually a pretty big number. All righty. God, dude, that was so good. We have so much content today. I don't know what is going on. but I love it. I'm into it. Hopefully you are as well. So that's going on with Ketanji Brown Jackson. Black people are disabled. And then, well, as long as you're not white, we got to redistrict everything based on race. If you're white, well, you sit in the back. Yeah, you got to sit in the back of the bus, basically, like Rosa Parks, who I don't think she actually ever sat in the back of the bus. And I think that whole thing was rigged from what I was told. But I don't know. I got to read up on it. So U.S. targeting suspected traffickers leaves survivors. What? So multiple people reportedly survived a U.S. strike on Thursday that targeted a boat carrying suspected drug traffickers in the, is it Caribbean or Caribbean? An American official told Fox News that they were 2 or 3 survivors. Folks, how do you look at this? There's a boat under here somewhere. They had to have jumped out beforehand. There ain't no way, dude. I've heard of this in war, by the way. Well, I'll continue to read in a moment. I've heard like Navy SEALs talking about how they would drop like 500-pound bombs and it wouldn't actually kill any of the guys. It just blew them away. That's all it was. It didn't blow them up. It landed and it blew them away. And they said it happened very often. Very often. So that's why partially I actually believe some of this. An American official told Fox News that there were 2 or 3 survivors after the U.S. carried out a strike targeting a big drug boat that was partially submerged underwater. A search and rescue helicopter was sent out to the site of the strike in international waters. No other details of the strike were immediately available. The Trump administration has ordered at least 5 strikes targeting suspected drug traffickers. Wow. So I guess they survived. I don't know how they survived that. Let me see if we can watch the video clip again. Oh my gosh. Because when you look at the clip, right, that we watched the other day, you would think that the people would be missed and the waters would be chummed. So that one's from September. I want the new one. Where's the new one? That one's from September. Let's see if we get the new one here for all of you. Un momento, please. Yeah, here we go. All right. So how do you, I'm gonna mute it because they always get me for the music. How do you survive this? Because I don't see anybody in the water. I mean, there's a blip here and a blip here. Maybe they were swimming away. They said some people survived this. I got some questions here. Boom. I don't know. Dude, don't ask me. I don't know how they're surviving that. If you know, let me know. Other than swimming away really quickly. But yeesh. Alrighty, in other news here. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Specifically that like button, the thumbs up. I wouldn't ask you to do it if it doesn't help me. I appreciate that. By the way, if you want to send in a super chat or a dono, don't feel like you have to. It's just something that helps support the show. Appreciate everybody that does donate or is also a member. God bless you. Appreciate that. I see all the badges. Okay, well, what's coming up this weekend, meaning tomorrow? Oh boy, here we go. Nationwide No Kings protests challenge Trump's authority during shutdown. I just think these people are bored, man. I don't think they have anything going on in their life and they just want to get outside and touch grass for once and they need a reason to do it. So over 2,500 No Kings demonstrations are scheduled for tomorrow across all 50 U.S. states, organized by groups like Indivisible and the ACLU to oppose President Donald Trump's prospective authoritarian actions amid the 17th day of a federal government shutdown. There's going to be a lot of street interviews tomorrow. The shutdown, triggered by disputes over spending cuts, foreign aid, and Affordable Care Act subsidies, not so affordable anymore, I suppose, has furloughed thousands of workers and risks disrupting services such as SNAP benefits for 40 million Americans and health subsidies. Democrats, including California Governor Gavin Newsom and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, endorsed the nonviolent rallies as defenses of democracy. While Republicans like Governor Greg Abbott of Texas and Senator Ted Cruz criticized them as divisive, alleging unverified foreign funding and communist ties, prompting troop deployments in some areas. Oh boy. So Donald Trump says a huge thank you to all the No Kings protesters yesterday. I was very concerned a king was trying to take my place, but thanks for your tireless efforts. I'm still your president. Great job, all. Freaking troll. You know that this just set off some freaking liberal, snowflake, lefty progressive in their house, just throwing pots and pans all over the kitchen. That SOB, that tyrant, blah, that freaking Nazi racist. Can you believe what he just said on X? He's the best, man. And they're too stupid to realize that he's trolling them, you know, because you got to listen to everything he says. You got to take his words seriously. Oh. Sometimes you're just so... Have you ever just been in a group and you're just clearly the smartest person, and that you could say something that basically is talking crap on the group, but they're too stupid to realize it? You guys ever been in that situation before? That you're basically openly talking crap about them, but they're too stupid to realize that you're talking crap about them? Oh boy. So here we showed this yesterday, but we're going to play it again because obviously tomorrow's the No Kings protest. And here's what Gavin Newsom had to say, which is basically sedition. But here we go.
No kings. A declaration of independence against the tyranny, against lawlessness in the context that there was no rule of law. It was the rule of the king. And I think increasingly people are waking up to the rule of law in this country, increasingly appearing to be the rule of Don. And I hope it's dawning on people how precious this moment is and what's at stake. And so I hope people put a stake in the ground, take the opportunity and time to participate this weekend, but again, do so peacefully with a deep realization of the consequences on what the founding fathers were all about. No king.
Oh, now, I mean, it's amazing right now. So yesterday we had Don Lemon talking about people, minorities and blacks, to go out and buy firearms, which I'm totally for, by the way. And now we have the Democrats wanting to rally behind the Constitution and the founding fathers, all of which just years ago, they were tearing down statues and wanting to get rid of the founding documents the founding fathers created because they were racist. Freaking full circle, baby. Holy crap. So now they're praising the founding fathers. Now they want democracy and a republic to be reestablished to where there's no kings. We've basically turned the Democrat Party ever so slowly to being, I guess, patriots again. Like they're almost the Minutemen in militia outfits. Next thing you know, we're going to start seeing a bunch of trans people with their hair braided in different colors showing up to church, praising Jesus, praising the Lord. I don't know what we're doing, but I think we're bringing things back, folks. The moment the left is starting to tell people to buy firearms, that they're for freedom of speech, the founding fathers and the Constitution, you know, things are a little bit wonky and wacky. Oh my God, this is like this is incredible. Donald Trump is making America great again, is he not? Is he not? Holy lordy. Well, speaking of Gavin Newsom and Donald Trump, we got this right here. This is blowing up on TikTok, by the way. You know what? Let me see. Excuse me. Sorry to clear my throat in the mic. I apologize. Let me see
ICE facility here in Portland.
If I can get this just turned out. We'll I'm going to keep that one up on the screen for you guys. I want to come back to that clip that just ran. California. I want to see if we can get the what's going on in California, because there is a live munitions demonstration that the left is completely lying to everybody about on social media, meaning TikTok. Let me see if I can do this. Hold on a second. Trump missiles. Cali. Oops. Hold on. So this is trending. And I just want you to hear what these people have to say in one moment, okay? So, good, we got time. The U.S. Marine Corps say a demonstration in celebration of its 250th anniversary at Camp Pendleton will not close down the 5 freeway this weekend. So the 5 freeway, I was going to say 5 south, but you go north or south on it. The 5 freeway passes so if you're going south on the 5, I've been past Camp Pendleton so many times. It's a major military installation, you guys. Like they have the beach right there. So they do like landings. And by the way, they always do live munitions. You can actually drive on the 5 and see them doing live munition firing, by the way. Just want to point that out. There are, I'm jumping ahead here, but I'm so flabbergasted because these people are, I'm a cuss right now, fucking stupid. What you're about to watch, these people are fucking stupid. I live here. I've lived here my entire life. I have friends that were at Camp Pendleton. I've picked up my friends at Camp Pendleton before. Just so you know, there has always been live munitions at Camp Pendleton. There is, I'm going to try to keep my shit because sometimes people are so fucking stupid. It blows me away. You can drive on the freeway and watch actual training drills happen in real time. There are literally signs that say live munitions. It's a military installation, one of the most famous ones in San Diego and all the United States. Oh, how is he going to do live munitions? It's like, that's what they fucking do every week. What are you talking about? So this comes after outrage grew that Trump's administration said the Marine Corps would be firing live munition during the demonstration on Saturday that was considering shutting down a stretch of the 5 freeway by the base. Locals say it would have been a disaster for drivers. So, which is true, by the way. I mean, we even complain here whenever, it doesn't matter whose president flies in, because it just completely shut down all the freeways, and it's already bad here as it is. It takes you like 2 hours to go 30 miles, 2.5 hours easy to go 30 miles. So the Marines say that Saturday afternoon celebration will be safe for everyone involved, including drivers just passing by, like it always is, by the way. It's crazy how you could shut down the 5. It's the main thoroughfare in Southern California between Orange County and San Diego. It's nuts. A full closure of the 5 in the area would be a traffic nightmare even on the weekend. It would cause an amazing disruption. There's a lot of stuff happening, and it's really the only thing. But what they're doing is, let's go to here. Where's my TikTok? It's not the one. This one. Listen to this guy. This is, by the way, this guy's complete bullshit. Where's the audio? Here we go.
Launch live missiles in. Major breaking news. Donald Trump may be planning to launch live missiles into California this Friday and Saturday, and you heard that right. Now, this comes to us from Midas Touch, who is reporting that sources close to the White House are saying that Donald Trump is planning this vanity parade Friday and Saturday in California, which would shut down a major roadway and cause havoc during the No Kings protest. Also part of the report is that they may be launching live missiles from warships into Camp Pendleton as a show of force. This is all under the guise of the 250th birthday of the Marine Corps. But more important than that, this is Donald Trump trying to find a way to disrupt the No Kings protest. He is terrified of this because he knows he is failing as a president. And the only thing he has left are power grabs. Any way he can to try and intimidate, to try and silence us. That is what he is going to do. Now, this is still a developing story, and we'll see what is happening. Again, this comes to...
Let's just say, even if they did launch missiles, let's just say this, from ships off the coast. It's a military installation, you nut job. I don't have any other way of putting it. There is a large area of land, by the way, that they use for all sorts of crazy stuff. So let's go to the chat here really quick over here. Look at watching this from California. I zoom in on this. Let me see. I cannot. Okay. Trump is going to attack Camp Pendleton. Well, can he postpone it? I have a Halloween party on Saturday. California? Me that day? Me watching this from California? Bro, I'm so tired of this. I don't know what NGA stands for. California, the place where I live. California. Oh my God, he's going to launch missiles? Firing on his own country? Isn't that treason or unconstitutional or something? The military needs to refuse to participate. I never forgive anyone who voted for him. Trump is a psychopath. Get him out of office immediately. He's going to attack it. These people, they're stupid. I mean, you are actually stupid. We got another one. It's crazy. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, hold on. We got Don Lemon on. This is the one. Okay, so Don Lemon's like, what? So there's a clip here, or a picture of an ex-post. Trump may launch missiles from warships into California this Friday and Saturday as part of the what is being described as a vanity parade, and shut down portions of the 5 freeway during the No Kings protests. And he's like shocked, like, what? How could he launch missiles from warships? How could he do training drills off the coast of California at Camp Pendleton, which is, again, I know I'm repeating myself, one of the most famous fucking bases in the entire country. People that don't even live here know about Camp Pendleton. It floors me, man. It really does, how people are just so stupid sometimes.
That shit crazy news that was first reported by the Midas Touch. Oh, now God. The LA Times is reporting
it's batshit crazy news.
Trump is planning to launch live missiles from the ocean into Camp Pendleton. This is onto American soil. Live missiles for some sort of vanity.
Who's going to tell this guy that we've dropped major munitions on U.S. soil? Who's going to tell this guy? Who's going to tell this guy that we've done major tests on U.S. soil with munitions? I tell you, these people live in a different world, you guys. They really, really do.
Vanity parade that J.D. Vance is going to host on No Kings Day on Saturday. And they're talking about closing parts of the I-5 freeway. This is the main freeway that connects Los Angeles to San Diego. It's really one of the only main roads you could take to get between the two. It runs along the coast. And they're going to close it down on a Saturday on No Kings Day to do this parade, this show of force. Now, this live exercise is a Marine Corps theme based on the 250th anniversary of the Marine Corps. And they are planning to shut down the I-5 on both.
Is shutting down the I-5 a big deal? As somebody who lives here, I will say, yes, it is a big deal. But it's not unprecedented to shut down a major freeway. For example, we had, it was called Carmageddon is what we called it. Carmageddon. And it was because they had to get rid of some overpasses on the 405. And the 405 that we have here is a major freeway that connects LA to Orange County, basically. But we shut it down. And so it's called Carmageddon. Were people upset? Yeah. But whenever Donald Trump does it, it's just absolutely terrible. It really is just god awful. But do you notice that none of them are mentioning the fact that Camp Pendleton is a military base? And that Camp Pendleton does live munitions all the time? But this is the type of people that you get on their side. This local physician clown speaks on ICE protests. This is the type of people that you get in Portland, Oregon, Southern California. You get these idiots.
Oregon, what brings you out?
Well, lots of issues. I think there's so many we can't even count them.
Give me a few.
At least she's dressed appropriately.
Let's see. The president is closing down the government because he doesn't want the Epstein files out.
Jesus.
And he's a pedophile.
Oh, boy.
He's already an adjudicated sexual abuser. 26 other people accused. So President Pedo, hard to respect. So let's just keep the government closed so nobody knows what's happening.
What about the Epstein files? How come Biden didn't release them?
I think they assumed the DOJ would be on it.
Because they could have buried Trump if they would have released those.
They should have.
So maybe Trump's not on him.
Oh, he's on him. The girls are going to talk.
The girls are going to talk?
The girls are going to talk. Leave it to the women. It's also upset about
the guy that's the lawyer for all the women has come out and said that Donald Trump was more than helpful and had nothing to do with it. Just to point out. So almost everything she said in this, not everything, but almost everything she said was a complete lie. These people are just insane, man. You almost like, a part of me feels bad because they're walking around life like unhappy. They don't have anything else to do other than dress up in a clown costume. And this is a physician, man. I've said, you guys, please. I mean, it's kind of a scary thing because when you go to the doctors, you expect them to be bright and smart, right? They went through a lot of schooling. They're still above the average IQ, but college is so fake now to where they curve their tests. They do everything just to pass you through the system. People are passing through at alarming rates that don't know shit, you guys. It's not like when we all went to college. Even high school nowadays is nothing like when we went to school. Please just go sit into a classroom. High school is gonna look like a middle school classroom. I'm not kidding. There's legitimately like finger painting on the walls. I'm not exaggerating this one bit. Please understand that. There is you're colored penciling shit in. Like, you know, when we in middle school used to like pencil in a turkey for Thanksgiving, like you have your hand. You will see that in high school, like junior, senior classrooms now. I'm not exaggerating this one bit. It is basically middle school. They can't read. They can't write. And somehow they're passing through. They can't add or subtract, you guys. Please understand that. They can't convert a decimal to percentages with a calculator. They are passing high school at alarming rates. I'm not exaggerating this one bit. I'm as serious as I possibly can be, and I'm being as specific as I possibly can be. They don't know words like gap, cluster, between, difference. These are seniors in high school across the country. They don't know it anymore. They have to be read aloud. It's the wildest thing. And I feel bad, man. I feel bad because they got passed through a system that's setting up for failure. And then they turn out to be like one of these people, maybe. Yeah, or 6'7". Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't mean you don't love the kids. I mean, you just feel bad, dude. It's like, bro, how did you get this far? You know, it's not just 1 or 2 or 5 or 10. I mean, it's the entire country. This country's doomed. It is doomed. All righty. Well, I thought that was a pretty good ending. Let me tell you, with the munitions thing, I thought that was fun. Brad, how bad is the 6'7"? It's not that bad. I think for the younger kids it is, but it's just, for me, when you teach a higher level math, you just got to get through the content. I know the kids have fun with it, and I'll throw it in every now and then. They think that I don't know, but it's just, you just give them a little bit of fun, but at some point you got to move on. But yeah, you hear the snickering and stuff whenever you hit 6'7", but you got to indulge it every now and then. You got to have fun. You can't be like an uptight teacher, you know what I mean? So you go like, oh, 6'7", like they go, oh, so you got to have fun, you know what I mean? You gotta cater to the audience that you have. But yeah, it's a weird thing. Nobody's explained it to me, but alrighty. Well, I hope all of you have a lovely No Kings protest day tomorrow. Is anybody going? Is anybody going undercover? You know what I mean? You gonna dress as a trans woman or a trans man, depending on what you are? Yeah. Some of you gonna get a little freaky deaky, you weirdos. Hey, any gentlemen in the chat gonna start wearing their wife's panties and start going out to No Kings protest? Ladies gonna throw on the old man's drawers, huh? Well, if you do, Jeff, Dizzy, any of the guys in here, Bing Bong, whoever it is, Craig, it doesn't matter, all the gentlemen, if you do plan on putting your wife's underwear on, go ahead and take a selfie and send it to Bald Brad at 1776. I will go ahead and post it on my X feed for all of you. I'll make sure I tag you. You get all the recognition for going undercover in those high heels. It's an amazing stuff. Ladies, that goes for you too. It's not as you know, you just be a tomboy. That's what we used to call them. But if you want to get down and dirty, get out there and do some on the street interviews, you know, hey, go ahead and do it. I'll post it on my X page. So God bless all of you. Well, we'll be back here maybe over the weekend. We'll kind of see, because the No Kings protest is going on. We might have to cover it. I don't know. It's kind of exciting. You see all these idiots out there on the street. Alrighty. Well, we'll definitely be back Monday. Thank you to everybody that contributes their hard-earned money to the show. Hopefully I didn't miss any live donations. If you want to, I just always plug this because, well, nobody else really other than the moderators plug my stuff. You go to baldbrad.com. You can leave a donation up here at the top tab. It helps keep the lights on here. I would say if you're doing a monthly donation, I would do it on the website, because that way you're not giving YouTube your money. And YouTube takes like 30%. So let's say you donate $100. $30 goes to YouTube. I get $70. Whereas if you did it through the website, I would get $97 of that $100. So your money's actually going more to me than it is to some sort of corporation. I think Squarespace takes like 3%, I think is what it is, which is the smallest. The reason why I made this website, truthfully, is so you can do your donations here and sell my book and do some stuff. But that way you're not getting scammed by somebody taking all your crap. But anyways, all right, love you guys. Pray for this country. Pray for Donald Trump. Read your Bible, huh? Send, Jeff's been doing a great job of sending me scripture and stuff like that through TikTok. Send scripture to each other via email, social media, read the books, all that stuff. And spend some time with the Lord. With that being said, maybe I'll see you over the weekend. Maybe I won't, but we'll definitely be seeing you Monday. Take care, Patriots.